Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode number 212, recorded Wednesday, January the 4th, 2017. I'm Tony Schaefer, PriusChat.com, and I am hosting tonight. As a side note, I want to point out that 212 is the point at which water boils in degrees Fahrenheit, in case you didn't know that. I thought that'd be worth noting. Not worth much, mind you, but it is worth noting. And for our Canadian friend, I know we just have one.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
Technically a friend.
Yeah, we have our one Canadian friend that translates with 212 water boils. What temperature does water boil in Canada?
Some oddball number, I think.
Yeah.
Something even like 100.
Yeah, something bizarre.
You just round it.
So are we like a double boiler then? With it, we've been at 100.
We boiled and we double boil.
You got to cross the border to this double boiling.
Right. So Danny Cooper is not with us tonight. He's in Washington, D.C. discussing possible cabinet post in the Trump administration. So tonight I'm joined by the lovely and talented Mr. Russell Frost.
Oh, I feel so pretty when you say that. Wow, I'm sorry. My brain is still spinning from last night.
Oh, jeez.
I want to say thank you to the 689 people so far that have watched last night's video. I have no idea where you get the strength, almost 700 of you, but God love you. Hang tough. You know what I mean? Be strong. We did it. You can do it. So we'll get into that later. But hi, Tony. Hi, everybody.
Hey. So let's get into our panelists, and I'm going to start in the order I believe in which they joined, which was our man in Waterloo. He is the head of the Waterloo Region Voltec Group, Chevy Bolt driver, plug-in enthusiast, Mr. Mark Hoglund.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. And don't worry, I am keeping track of the score tonight, so I'll let you know where Team Canada sits as we move into the third period.
Those Swiss asses.
I don't know. Have the Swiss won a game?
They have won a game, but now we're into the medal finals. And Tony, you should be glad to know that the U.S. has moved on. They're going to be playing for the gold medal.
You're right. Wow. Right. Yeah. The U.S.
It's just whether they're going to be playing us or Sweden.
I was going to say, didn't the U.S. play Canada over the weekend? I'm not really sure how that game turned out. Mark, do you happen to...
No, I don't recall the score of that
one. Come on. And was the U.S. team half Canadian anyway?
Well, this is the IIHF. So
they're pretty well real Americans on that team.
Yeah. What are they? Okay.
Yeah. And if you've been watching the Finnish, I think it's the Finnish team. They look like me. They're all like blonde hair, blue eye, except taller and more athletic. It's kind of funny and humorous. So I'm gonna throw it over to our man in Missouri. Splits his time between his Prius and his Tesla, and his house and his lake house and whatever else he's doing.
And his lawnmower.
Yep. Dr. Evans, let's go.
Every time we play that intro music, I'm determined to get a bass guitar and start learning to play it. I really need to. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's good stuff. Anyway, having a good time here in Missouri, and I think I've fully recovered from last night's show. So let's go.
Yeah. All right. Last but certainly not least, our man in Boulder, owner of Boulder Hybrids, as you can see over his shoulder. And if I'm not mistaken, he was working about a minute ago. He is Mr. Paul Guzik.
Yes. Good day, everybody, or good evening, everybody, and glad to be back. And yes, I'm up to my ass in broken hybrids this week at Boulder Hybrids. So keep them coming.
That's it. Exactly.
Well, we've hinted about it so far today. Yeah, those of you who actually suffered through it with us, last night was the, oh boy, do we want to call it a kickoff for Faraday Future or
the Faraday failure?
Definitely.
Yeah. And those of you who subscribe to What Drives Us might have gotten a notification on Facebook or in your email inbox that our very own Russell Frost wrote down his thoughts about last night's show. So he's going to go through that.
I am?
I thought so. If not, then
14 bullet points. Come
Oh
on.
my God, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, I did. By the way, if you go to whatdrives.us, you can read my 1,453 word essay on an hour and 40 minutes of pure living hell.
I have been having a hard time getting to sleep at night. So
Yeah,
yeah.
believe me. But I want to tell you, my article, my essay, much more entertaining than the Faraday presentation video.
yeah, no doubt.
That is saying much.
So I'm, you know what? The big reveal, their first product, their first production, quote unquote, vehicle was revealed last night at CES in Las Vegas. Actually, the day before CES, off-site at a special location that Faraday Future had secured. I've got some bullet points. I just want to go over those real quick. I welcome anybody to chime in with questions and or comments. I'm going to guess the only questions might come from Paul, who wasn't there. And if you guys want to add anything to this, please feel free. Otherwise, we'll just rip through this, and then we're going to close the lid on the Faraday Future casket and probably never revisit it again.
Hammer it hard.
Okay, so bullet point numero uno. FF91. That's the name of the car.
Brilliant.
I mean, FF91.
No, actually,
It's so
I think
philosophical.
Isn't it supposed to be 91? I don't think it's supposed to be 91. I think it's literally supposed to be FF91. Not that that makes it any better.
That makes it
What's
worse.
the difference?
It doesn't. Just it's semantics.
But
I'm
in
just-
I
this
thought
case,
maybe
the
there
FF
was-
is friggin' fugly.
Yeah.
Well-
exactly. Thank you.
I'm just, you know what? I'll be the guy who says, let's at least make sure we're representing the product that we're bashing correctly.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what I owe them.
True.
I don't know that I owe them. I'm going to show in the background here while I talk for a couple of minutes some of the video that thrilled and enthralled us last night. This is actually interesting video, so I'm going to skip ahead to some less interesting video. This guy. Number two, the FF91, as Faraday Future said multiple times on stage, as it still says on their website, the FF91 is not a new species, nor is Faraday Future reformatting the future. Not even close. So, we're not even close.
Yeah, I don't understand how a four-wheel, four-door vehicle with side view mirrors and a steering wheel is redefining anything.
You know, it could possibly, but this one isn't. Let's be clear. This vehicle is not redefining anything.
It's not cool tech, but
I mean, this could have been Elon Musk presenting the next generation Model S. I mean, and it would have
5
fit
years ago.
perfectly. Well, yeah, but just look, there are a few upgrades. It's a bigger battery pack. It's a little bit faster. It's got a little bit more advanced lidar system than the current. So I mean, I could totally see him coming out. We're super excited to present you the next generation, next evolution. But by the time the freaking Faraday thing comes out, if it ever comes out, Tesla's going to be 3 steps ahead of what this was presented as, if they can even bring this to market from their pile of dirt out in the desert.
Right. Right. So let's see the next point. Faraday Future at the end of the episode, and actually right before the reveal started on the website, they began taking $5,000 refundable deposits for the FF91. They of course did not announce when the delivery date would be, and by the way, they didn't announce a price. So, hey, but you got faith, right?
And is the deposit held by a third-party escrow service, or
yeah, exactly, right?
Or are you going to lose that refundable deposit?
You can go dig it up in the desert.
I'd love to see the tote board this morning.
There's one deposit, and it has the same last name as the owner of the company. I don't get that. And this was a point I made repeatedly, and I made in the essay. I look at this and I see one thing: it's a limo. It's not a passenger car at best. It's a limo, and at worst, it's a whole bunch of interesting ideas that were literally just like slapped onto a car that was big enough to hopefully hold them all. So it's like, it's a mess. That it is. It's the mess that the FM91 is.
And yet, at the same time, I full on believe everything you're saying that it's a limo. However, they contradict themselves, in my opinion, because they talk about integration with the driver and driver stuff, and it was all about it was all driver centric, driver. And yet, what they rolled out really did look like it's a limo. Well, it has zero gravity seats in the back. That's for the comfort of the back seat passenger. So why have all this driver-centric technology when it's not the driver's car?
I don't know. And all I can say is I think that kind of comes back to why this is such an abortion.
Kind of like the Homer Simpson car that he designed.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean, I don't mean to, like I just think it's such a horrible. You know what this whole thing looks to me like it needs an editor. Like it didn't have anybody at the head of this project that said, "What are you talking about? Why are we going to build a 7,000-pound car?" You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but
they just said, "Oh, we're going to put everything on it. Oh, it weighs X thousand pounds. Who cares? Cool."
Yeah, and I do hear myself, so don't think that I don't. And it sounds as though I'm trying to defend it, and I don't know that I am. But
Stop it.
I know, right? But to your point, there's some good tech that they crammed into it.
Sure,
Yeah.
maybe.
It just seems very
Yeah, but by the
like I
time
said,
the car's
it's contradictory.
Everyone else will have it.
Yeah, I mean, like one of their first showpieces was their Echelon inverter that is notable because it's very small, it's very compact, which is odd because the FF91, Tony, the FF91, not 91, 91, the FF91 is ginormous. This is an enormous vehicle. There's no reason for a tiny inverter. Okay, they could fit an inverter the size of a dishwasher in this vehicle. So, again, like we got this in, it wasn't like the inverter was designed because they didn't have a lot of space. You know what I mean? That's why.
One thing that I didn't really, well, of course we got zero spec, but where's the motor? Is the motor up front? Because they showed the skateboard.
Doesn't say.
See, that's the thing. It
Well,
doesn't.
did they say if it's all-wheel drive or not?
Didn't say.
Didn't say.
Didn't
It
say.
is all-wheel steering.
Big
Yeah.
whoop.
Yeah. Hey, let me just run through a couple more of these points so we can get. And the next one Tony's already mentioned. Seriously, the NASA-inspired zero-gravity chair in the back. The back seat is this enormous compartment that has two NASA-inspired zero-gravity chairs. They look like first-class international flight passenger seats. With a full-on footrest.
So the car's zero gravity, it will float into space?
Right.
It has enough horsepower. No trunk, no frunk. They didn't mention anything about carrying anything other than maybe a driver and maybe somebody in the back. So I guess if you have luggage, you get a roof rack.
I thought I remembered like
150 cubic feet is the internal volume of the vehicle. But they didn't say anything about storage.
But similar to the door that they couldn't open, the trunk nor the front would open either.
Yeah. Styrofoam only bends once in a
Yes. Styrofoam with lines cut on it doesn't mean it's going to open.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting. Something that Russell alluded to and speculated last night is that this car is primarily going to be designed for the Chinese market. The up and coming, the new rich who will have the driver and they will be chauffeured around in this. Well, Russell, I would like to assume that you noticed, but one of the pictures that you put in your article, your blog, the overhead sketch of the car is right-hand drive.
Ooh.
Even though the car they showed last night has a steering wheel on the left, the sketch for a car that is being built in the United States has a steering wheel on the right side.
Yeah, but only a small part of China's right-hand drive, just Hong Kong. Mainland China's left-hand drive.
Oh, is the rest of it left-hand
Is
drive?
it? Okay. Okay.
It's a
Where
real
are all
mess
the
when you
billionaires, though?
Well, and there's
mostly
another
mainland China. But
there's another little interesting thing on the website that I didn't put in the thing. But when you look at, they have like an overhead view, an outline of a car, and they're showing you how much larger the FF91 is, and that car has a V8 engine in it. Like it shows like 8 spark plugs and an engine block and stuff. And at first, when you look at that, you think, why the hell would there be a V8 engine in this electric car? And then you see the overlay, and it's like, oh, that's supposed to symbolize something. That's weird. PDLC glass. Anybody know what PDLC? Everybody knows what PDLC glass is. Polymer dispersed liquid crystal glass. This is glass that Faraday says you touch it, bink, and it goes black. Instant privacy whenever you want. What kind of vehicles require instant privacy?
limos.
Yeah, thank you.
Teenage.
Yeah, totally cool. Totally cool. Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of it. But I mean, window tint is really not that like low tech. You know what I mean? Like window tint works. And
Yeah,
cool.
instant tint. And would that even be legal on the streets? Is it legal in limos, I guess, or
Back
whatever?
seat you can have completely
Okay.
black, but the driver's window and the windshield have to be clear.
Right.
Clearish.
Okay.
It depends on the jurisdiction, and like most of that vehicle, it's not street legal. You know, all of the blinking lights and the motion and the stuff that convey your emotion while you're driving on the exterior of the car, those aren't legal in most places. You know, the side view mirrors we talked about, they're not legal. They're cool, and they probably should be legal, but they're not at this point. One of the other points they made over very strongly is that this car, the thing that makes this thing different is that it's connected to everything. Everything. And I have to admit, I don't recall hearing a lot of complaints that my car didn't know where I was on Call of Duty 5. But okay, sure. Is I need to get into my car and I need to know where I was on the PlayStation.
Well, the Russian hackers need to know where it is so they can steal them all.
Oh, they know. They know.
My next point, somehow Faraday Future managed to outdo themselves compared to last year's awful Faraday Future debut. You'll remember the $2 million race car made of styrofoam that they debuted. This one was actually even worse. It was more pointless. It was longer. I'm being redundant. It was aggressively stupid. I mean, Mariah Carey watched this video and said, I sounded awesome. And some quick points about why. They at one point they have the competitors' vehicles driving across the stage to show how fast they go, and then they had Faraday Future car drive across the stage to show how fast they go. And if you think everyone in that audience wasn't totally confused by that, you weren't watching the same video that I was. And bringing competitor vehicles on stage anyway, I mean, I don't get that. Mentioning, showing videos of the other vehicles, weird. The valet demo with their CEO from China, with the owner. Oh, that was embarrassing, huh? Oh, the car doesn't want to wake up. It's sleepy. Yeah, that's cute. I'm sure
the car's bricked.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure your owner's going to be very, very tickled by that little saying. Oh, my car's sleepy. Oh,
Yes.
and then I mean the pièce de résistance of the whole presentation was just about a third of the way into it. Them showing a short 2 or 3 minute video of the factory in phase 1 development. A large stretch of
dirt.
barren desert. A large stretch of barren desert.
Oh, God.
You know, I mean,
And them blowing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's I mean, and I have to wonder, what were they exploding there? Oh, I think it was just something for the cameras.
Right. Yeah. That was actually just stock footage from like a strip mine.
Yeah.
I've had 24 hours for that to soak in, and the one thing that just grabs me is it seems to me that the owner, wants to be like the maybe the Chinese or the next Elon Musk. You know, that, oh, well, I invented the Chinese Netflix. I'm an awesome high-tech entrepreneur, so I can make a car too. And Tesla has batteries and autonomous. And oh, by the way, they opened up all their patents, so I can just use some of their tech, create some of my own tech, and then I can come out with this really awesome car. But see, the thing that I think, I don't know, maybe he and a lot of other people forget.
Not that the Chinese have ever stolen anyone's ideas.
No.
Right. I wasn't going to go there, but yeah. But, the thing is, Elon Musk didn't create the Tesla. He joined Tesla. They didn't start with the Model X. They started with Lotus bodies that they shoved a bunch of batteries into, and that was a rough start. I mean, that wasn't an autonomous car with valet and all the safety features. That was just a car that just needed to go and go fast. And the first ones, to be honest, weren't even really that overly fancy. They were Lotus shells with a bunch of batteries crammed in, and if you stomped on the accelerator, it pinged against your seat. And then year after year, there was incremental improvement, and there was better, and there were, more sensors, and then the Model S. And even now, there's been more incremental improvements. And then we have the Model X, and then he comes out with the Model 3. And so I just think it's a little over pretentious to think that you could start a company and your very first car is going to leapfrog someone who's been playing this game for almost 10 years.
No argument here.
Yep.
I agree. And the last thing I wanted to mention on this, I've got some other points, but I don't care. It's all horrible. There was a site that we've actually talked about here, and I'm not going to name them by name, but it made me sad to read their kind of write-up of it, because I wondered, they obviously didn't watch the same thing. It was a very sort of happy, glossy kind of, look at this. There was any kind of critical, even reasonable analysis. And it made me sad because, you run not a car website, not a big car website, not Car and Driver or Motor Trend, and you can't even go, wow, that was just really awful. Anyway, that's it. Let's move on to something happier.
Well, if you want happy, we can talk about existing cars.
Let's do that, Tony.
Yes.
Real cars that you can actually buy?
Real cars that not only you can actually buy, but Inside EVs have put together, as they always do, their monthly scoreboard of existing plug-in cars that people have actually bought. What do you know? So because it was December, and December is the end of the year, they also have their year-end totals. And anybody want to guess what the top selling plug-in vehicle, anyone except Evan, 2016? Yes, it was the Tesla Model S. Yes, they moved almost 30,000 units in 2016. And I don't know, Evan, do you want to try and...
global figure or U.S.?
That is U.S.
Wow.
Evan, do you want to take a stab at why October? I mean, it was slowly incremental improvement. May, June, July, August, September, 4,300, October, 950. And then it ramped back up in November, December.
They don't report sales, though.
Well, they don't, but they are inferred, and there's, how do they do it? They estimate their numbers.
Okay.
Based on other factors.
Almost 6,000?
Just for the record, I mean, maybe that explains some of the craziness.
Yeah, maybe.
It does, because they can't actually know the number. What they're doing is they're guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they get quarterly reports.
Or they have a spy outside of Fremont counting the back door.
One,
he's got a little clicker, like the nightclub guys have. Click,
now,
click,
the spike in December makes some sense, as they had announced that they were going to start charging for supercharging, and it no longer be unlimited for life. And so they probably got a bit of a bump in December, but I really doubt it was a 4,400 car.
And there was an election too that may have made some people think some rebates might go away or something.
Potentially,
I don't know, maybe.
I didn't really hear a lot of rumble about that, though.
Yeah. The Volt, second most selling plug-in with 24,739, almost 25.
Nice.
So, and those two really leading the pack. I mean, the next one is the Tesla Model X with 18,000. But those are the Model S and the Volt are the only two selling above 20,000 in
Why is
2016.
the Fusion Energy listed above the X on that chart?
Yeah, I think it was an error.
Okay.
Ford
Yeah.
paid him off.
Yeah.
They
500
are
bucks,
selling
you
a
put us
lot
in-
of Fusions, though. There is a large amount of Fusions moving, and I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Really?
Really?
I drove the Fusion Energy for 2 weeks doing my report. I really enjoyed it. I honestly liked that car. I don't know. That's just me.
Yep.
Right on.
Yeah. So Nissan Leaf is still moving very well.
Steady.
14,000 in 2016. And then it does, I mean, at that point, after those 5, it kind of falls off a shelf because you have the BMW i3 with 7,600, the Ford C-Max Energy with 6,600, and then going all the way down. The Toyota Prius Prime started selling in November. So in November, 781. In December, 1,641.
It's fairly strong for the first.
That's
couple
pretty
months.
impressive because that car is in short supply still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they haven't really pushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're really, I haven't seen any advertisement or anything for.
And that was the first.
And
month
there's a lot of states you can't even buy it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard rumors of them being in Illinois, but the dealers I've spoken with around here are saying that it's going to be warm again before we see that.
Well, and they delivered almost 600 bolts. Huh.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was the train loads they sent.
Okay.
the Bolt train to California.
Yeah, so 1 month in December, 579 reported. And then there's a car called Other, which sold 1. I have no idea what that is.
That's the leftover coda that's been
Oh, right. Yeah.
collecting dust somewhere.
You would think if there's
they
only
resell that once a year.
yeah, if there's only 1, I think you can actually just put the name there.
So
But
40,000 more EVs or plug-in vehicles sold since 2015. Not bad.
yeah. So in the U.S., Inside EVs reports 155,243 plugins were sold in the U.S. and globally, the number is 664,000. To me, as far as I'm concerned, that is a very large number. And I realize that's still probably a very small percentage of the overall new car sales, but that just seems like an impressive market to be playing in.
I'm surprised, though, that the U.S. is only like a quarter of the world market, because the U.S. is arguably the world's largest auto market.
Not for sustainable energy, my friend.
Yeah, I think China overtook them, right?
Well, and I guess in what do they count as EVs? Like China has all those neighborhood electric vehicles and, you know.
Well, but keep in
scooters and
mind, these
stuff.
are
That's a good
plugins.
question.
These are not just EVs. So the Prius Prime, for example, plug-in hybrid. Yeah.
So scroll to the bottom where the 2010, 2011 numbers total 17,400.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, single vehicle sales are well over that now.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I mean, look where we've come in
Yeah.
5-6 years. That's hell. If you if you could buy stock in plug-in vehicles, you'd be a wealthy man right now. That's impressive and satisfying in a lot of ways, I think.
Yeah, that is true. It would be a good like investment fund, a mutual fund, if you could just spread it across all the plug-in vehicles, and not just the manufacturers, because whatever. But
Yeah,
growth market.
That's good. Good to see. Good to see.
You just have to hope that some of the incentives remain. That our government is still friendly to plug-in vehicles, alternative fuel. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sales, I think that Mark, you want to talk about the Bolt?
Yeah, and just to I guess dovetail with what Tony was saying, December sales of the Bolt, we just mentioned that they had 579 sales, and they had a couple of train loads head to California. So I'm not sure if that many changed hands in just a couple of days that were before the end of the year, but they indicate that they have been sold. So maybe that's pre-orders at different dealerships, but certainly there's a ton of stories now on the internet of people getting these cars in their hands for the first time over the last week. So it's starting to filter out. But what I was really impressed with was the Volt comes back, Volt with a V, to steal the show. 3,691 sales of that car in December, which is a record, an all-time record. They never sold that many in 1 month.
Wow.
And when you total it up for the year, the 24,000 plus, that number is higher than any year that the Volts have sold. So excellent news there on both fronts.
Do you think it's possible that people are coming into the dealership to look at a Bolt and they start talking, and then the topic of range comes up, and we think the range is great, but then anytime people think about range, then they start panicking. And then maybe they go towards the Volt.
I wonder. I know that that was part of my thinking when I got involved with my first EV 2.5 years ago, and I know that it was definitely part of the conversation then. But after 2.5 years and knowing what you know after that point, it's less of a conversation piece. But certainly for new buyers, definitely is something that would cross their minds about that range anxiety.
Yeah, that's great.
Available nationwide yet?
The Bolt is not nationwide yet. They say that the deliveries to the other CARB states will start at the end of January, February. And I understand that they're even going to be entering Canada in February, March.
Cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to them hitting the Chicagoland market so that I can go test drive.
Go into a Chevy dealership and play stupid, Like, really, I'm curious to see what the sales techniques are with it. If they try to redirect you, if they try to sell you on it, and
it really depends on what dealership you go into.
Yeah.
Right, true.
And what bonuses are out that month? Like if there's a bonus on Camaros, they're gonna try and push you into a Camaro.
Come in asking about the Bolt, and they try to push you to Camaro.
Yeah.
All right.
And if they do, they're a good salesperson.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, moving along, and I think Russell, were you going to take the Ford truck article?
Do I actually have a story next?
I don't know.
I do. And you know what? It's not really a story. It's me talking about not talking about a story.
Oh, great.
Which is kind of like, I kind of like to do these meta bullshit things like this. And here's the long and the short of it. Ford put out a press release talking about a 300-mile electric SUV, a hybrid F-150, a Mustang, you name it. Oh, it's all going to be great. Described them all as EVs. Of course, there was only one EV, which our friend Danny Cooper at Prius Chat pointed out to Ford, and they didn't respond. Suffice to say, you know what? I just don't give a shit what Ford PR has to say. I honestly don't. I mean, I hope.
There goes another sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Because believe me, I was cashing those Ford checks. I love the idea that they're talking about it, but when their CEO trash talks EVs, when they've consistently been the people who talk about doing something and then don't really do it. Right. Fuck them. I'm gonna focus my attention on people.
Also, tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I know. Hey, let's put it this way. In this case, Faraday Future outshined Ford. How's that?
Wow.
Yeah,
they actually made a prototype. That's all I got to say about that. Unless you guys would like to argue that Ford making a possible hybrid Mustang someday, maybe, kind of, sort of.
How many people buy a Mustang for hybrid capabilities?
Thank you. Well, they will when gas is $5 a gallon, but that's a little ways away.
Well, but I'm really going to segue because you brought this up, but there was an article. Maybe I should wait until we actually have the article, but there was talk about gas going even under $10 a barrel.
A barrel, yeah, good.
So, but here's the thing: if gas goes under $10, or not gas, I'm sorry, if oil goes under $10 a barrel, then that means gasoline is not going to get more expensive. It's going to get less expensive. And if gasoline gets less expensive, more people are going to run out. They're going to dust off their Hummers, and they're going to drive those things around. They're going to drive more F-350s. They're going to drive more Yukon XLEs, and that's going to weaken the market for plug-in and electric vehicles, in my opinion.
I agree. Ford's shown no leadership in this. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the Fusion Energy or the C-Max or even the Fusion Hybrid, which was a great early hybrid for them. But I mean, in a product category, they've shown no leadership at all. None. So if they do it, great. I will be happy to change my opinion and go, wow, I was wrong about Ford. Ford really came through. But announcing a bullshit, maybe hybrid Mustang in 2020.
Yeah. And maybe hybrid F-150.
Yeah, whatever, guys. I get it. Your heart's not really in it. And you just want some green car cred. Cool. Yeah. So eat shit. And speaking of that,
I was going to say, that segues great into
that is awesome.
There's another article that was in every green car website this week. And
yeah.
God love him. You know what? I got nothing against Woz. Okay, Steve Wozniak, that co-founder of Apple. You all know him. He's a little crazy. He's a little fun. He seems like a decent guy. I don't know what he did with his Tesla, but he's not driving his Tesla anymore. Now he's driving a Chevy Bolt. And yay, Woz. I got to question his judgment on this. I've been in the Bolt. I've been in the Model S. Not really the same thing.
There's a difference, isn't there?
Really?
I mean, I'm glad that Woz likes the Model S. Maybe it's just like he wanted an everyman's electric car. Well, then good for him. But who gives a shit?
Did he get rid of his Model S, really?
No.
Adding to the fleet here.
He sold his original Model S or traded it in. He got his wife a brand new Model S, and then 4 or 5 days later, he got a Bolt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
Okay.
Yay! A guy with millions of dollars bought a $30,000 EV.
Like maybe just wanted a different toy, but honestly, if you can afford a Tesla, I think you'd probably prefer that over the Bolt. Unless he's got a tiny parking spot somewhere he needs to fit into.
He doesn't live in the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure Woz probably isn't, I don't know.
Or maybe
he stated on his Twitter feed that this would be his daily driver.
Yeah. Hey, good for him. And by the way, great license plate. I don't know if you saw it on his wife's Tesla.
Batshit crazy?
Well, it says BATT crazy, CZY, which is short for batshit crazy, but battery crazy. It's wonderful. Great plate. And nothing like driving a P100 or an SP100D to pick up your Chevy Bolt.
It's like driving your Porsche to go get your Chevy Cruze.
Yeah. I mean, the Chevy dealer's like, hey, would you like to buy a Camaro while you're here just for the fuck of it?
But the cool thing is, when you think about it, he could go get the car. He could drive to get the Bolt and then have his Tesla follow him home.
There you go.
Huh? See?
Almost,
That's kind of cool.
I'm going to turn it over to Mark, who has something really cool.
Interesting that Chrysler now has come up with a new design that's based apparently on the Pacifica's body or skateboard body. And they have come out with the Portal, a new concept that they just released at CES in Las Vegas. And it's an interesting looking vehicle. It's, again, a little spacey. It seems to be always that these concepts are very spacey. It's a little bit too spacey. Obviously, you'd wonder if it could actually make it to the real world. But it is interesting that they put a 100 kilowatt battery pack in it. Some 250 miles of range is expected. And the car's got pretty good pickup, and it will charge 150 miles in about 20 minutes. So,
And what percentage of concept cars actually get built? Does anyone know?
I would say it's low.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Although this one looks kind of neat. Although I do question the doors. They're showing the doors here closed, but they do open as sliders to both sides, opening a very large cabinet space.
Suicide sliders.
Suicide
Sorta,
sliders.
yeah.
That's an excellent term.
Yeah. So here, hold on. I'll pull a picture.
It's a cool car, but yeah, like I said, I just like it's a concept.
So am I the only one who thinks it looks like the FF91 though?
They're the same. They're the same.
Really? I mean, the body panel, the side body panel is the same.
What's kind of interesting is that this back piece here is actually a lockable storage compartment on the outside of the vehicle. It's kind of like an outside glove box.
Oh, interesting.
So I've never seen that before.
That's kind of cool and weird. I mean, like who?
Quick,
give me a reason for that.
You've got this kind of glass thing on the door. I'm not sure if it's glass or just a glossy reflection.
Yeah. No, it looks like it's glass underneath.
It does look kind of funny that way, but I do like the back. It's kind of a nice look on the back. I kind of like this glass piece that goes over the top. I think that looks kind of cool.
Am I missing something, or is there no steering wheel in this car? Does it just read your thoughts?
Again, like every concept car comes with a cockpit type steering wheel. I don't know why, but every concept comes with it.
And it's got a fire button on the top, so as you down the road, you can take out the guys who drive it.
What's nice about the suicide pocket doors here is, of course, the large space that it opens. So you got no problem getting in and out of the vehicle.
Now, without the
Does it have anti-gravity seats?
Is that the B pillar, Paul? Would that be?
The B pillar is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without the B pillar, is that a crash test thing? I mean, because
they do mention something that when the two suicide doors connect, it's as strong as the B pillar.
Right.
But what if the doors are open and the car rolls over?
That was not in the press release, Paul.
See, you didn't think about that, did you?
The word toast was not mentioned once.
No. Or pancake.
But again, this is a concept, but I thought it was worth mentioning. At least Chrysler is coming out with an all-electric, or they're saying they're coming out. They do have the Pacifica. They are building on it. Kudos to them to at least trying.
So from the side, on that very top picture, if you look at it, it kind of looks like one of those, like a Jesus fish.
Where's
I don't see that.
Where are you looking?
At the very top, the video.
Oh, the
very
video.
top of the article. Because it's got that pointed front that comes back, and then the tail in the back. See,
you're talking about the overall design.
Just looking at the silver outline.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Right.
You think it's like a subliminal message, maybe?
I think it is.
Jesus.
Okay. I mean, if this was the newest vehicle from Chick-fil-A, I might go with you. But
right.
This is Fiat Chrysler.
Right. I think if you total this car, it'll be back in your garage 3 days later.
Outside of Rome, those Italians are like godless heathens, aren't they?
I don't know.
I think I just lost another listener group.
Yeah,
we're losing countries now. Slow down.
Yeah, that was actually there was actually nothing bad about Italians in there. Sorry.
It's just expected.
Right.
It's my role on the show. Okay.
I thought you were the good guy today.
I know. Really?
How long did that last?
God, half the show.
Couple minutes. Not much past.
As long as we're jettisoning viewers, why doesn't Evan give a reason for all Missouri politicians and jurists to go F themselves?
Welcome to Missouri politics. We're making a run for Illinois and Louisiana as far as our corrupt purchasable government. So 4 days ago, Tesla sales were banned in Missouri by the act of a circuit court judge who interpreted the franchising law to mean that you had to be a franchise to be able to sell cars in Missouri, even though it's been interpreted differently several times previously. And not only did he ban, basically what he said is that Tesla couldn't renew their license on January 1st for 2017. So on Saturday, that was the last day they were able to sell cars in Missouri. And Tesla requested that there be a stay of that ruling until they were able to appeal, and he denied the stay, which is, logical because so many people are being harmed by the sales of Tesla in Missouri. So he wanted to protect the citizens of our state, and that made a whole lot of sense.
Well, he had to go and cash that check from the rest of the auto industry.
Right, because selling what is quite possibly the world's safest car is harming a lot of people.
Right, exactly. So made a lot of sense there. But obviously pretty frustrating. And this whole thing, I think, as a constituent, is frustrating in that there's not like a bill before our legislators right now that I can call up my guy and say, hey, what's going on? You need to support Tesla here and the future of the auto industry and all that. It's just in the courts. So our ability as Tesla owners and fans and constituents is really, really limited at this point.
So the general public can't really do anything?
Not really. I mean, I haven't been able to figure out exactly what I can do. I mean, I because it's not in the, being developed as a law. This is the current law, and it's being tried in the courts. So, but fortunately, Tesla's been very active, obviously, in monitoring these things, and so they took it to the appellate judge today, and they fortunately were granted a stay until the appeals process is gone through. So they were not they had all their showrooms closed in Missouri from Saturday until today, and hopefully will be open back up tomorrow and resuming sales. Fortunately, the appellate judge was fairly reasonable about that, and I have no idea when the appeal is going to happen. Obviously, the way the courts move, I suspect it'll be a while. So hopefully we'll have some time to rally the forces here. But it's really frustrating. Again, I want to help. I want to do something, and it's just very difficult to know where to go, since it's just really in the hands of the courts at the moment. And then, depending on how they decide, then we'll have to see about new legislation to attempt to change the current law so that Tesla will be compliant. The changes are difficult. People resist.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit frustrated and, quite honestly, really fed up with a lot of these people who keep talking about they're pro-business and pro-jobs and they're pro-business. I mean, that's all they say. We want to be friendly to businesses and this and this. And then here comes a business that wants to sell their product, and they're like, no. Yeah. How is that pro-business?
No, well, it's not. It's pro their own pocketbook, because the Missouri Auto Dealers Association is very powerful, very strong, and they're padding a lot of pockets, and that's what Tesla's up against with this, and they're fighting a battle for the future. They're frankly fighting a battle for Faraday Future if they ever bring a car to market. They're trying to change the way the relationship between auto manufacturers and the consumer, the same way Uber is changing the relationship for taxi service or public transportation, and the way Amazon changed the industry for purchasing. And it's a painful process because everybody wants to protect their own turf. I mean, if I'm making my living as a car dealer, as that middleman between the manufacturer and the consumer, I don't want to see that challenged by somebody that can come in with a better product at a lower price without having to go through that process.
Of course, that invalidates the concept that you're at all conservative and you believe in the free market.
Right.
Just
did you not hear the part about the money padding their own pocket?
No. I think that's the unspoken part of the policy, which is, and Tony said, and it's always that way. You know what I mean? It's like unless they're supporting my campaign,
right? I'm all for free market economy unless they're supporting me in some other way. And right. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah,
and that's how bills become law.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here in Steve King's office waiting for an envelope full of cash.
So Evan, if they ban sales permanently, like how far does one have to go to buy a Tesla?
The Supreme Court.
For me, yeah. Well,
No, physically from
probably
Missouri.
Kansas, and I'm not really sure how it works because you still can order over the internet. There's just something about the delivery process is wonky, so I may have to go to Kansas to
cross the state line to take the keys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, how do they FedEx you a car if you order it off on the internet? I mean, is it on Amazon Prime? I mean, like one
It shows up
ordering?
in a box.
Right.
It gets delivered by a drone, a very big drone.
Both of our cars were delivered directly off of the semi truck. One of them, the first one, my Model S to my office, and my wife's Model X to the high school a mile down the road.
Nice, nicely done. There we go.
And Evan, did you order by the internet or did you go to a store?
I've never ordered in a store. I've been to the stores just to visit and say hello. But so mine was my Model S was reserved by phone because that's the only way you could do it when they first. It was 2009 when they started taking reservations. Right, and then my wife's the Model X I ordered from the touchscreen in my Model S. Because I could.
Oh, fuck you.
And then he went back in time.
And then he ordered a round of beers from his phone.
That's a great story.
YouTube's full of stupid unboxing videos, and you didn't get a video of you ordering your next car from your current car in your car? That would have been video.
The Model X is unveiled.
Yeah.
The Model X is unveiled, and Evan's screen pops up and says, "An upgrade is available.
Yeah.
Would you like to download the upgrade?"
Click here for the update.
Really?
The
Would you like
update charge $120,000.
Yeah, just a small in-app purchase fee.
Yes.
No problem.
Right. Well, okay, so let's keep the Tesla ball rolling. With Russell is going to have our last article.
I have a story on
batteries.
Tesla.
I don't know. I thought you did.
I do.
Well, what do you know?
Way back when, kids, do you remember way back when Elon Musk said he was going to build a big building in northern Nevada, and in it he was going to make batteries, and he guaranteed, well, I don't know that he guaranteed, but he said that big old factory would be pumping out batteries by the end of 2016, and guess what? He did it, actually. Tesla has, the Gigafactory has started producing batteries. In fact, as we dig into this article at Green Tech Media, it actually looks like the factory was working in some capacity, obviously earlier in the year, probably, I'm sure, testing and stuff, but they've been supplying batteries to battery farms, solar and for the battery backups, like the one that they just deployed in Hawaii. Anyway, this is the big, huge factory in Reno. You've seen it many times. It's big and it's covered in solar panels, and it looks like a factory. Other than that, not much to say. The cool thing is this is where Tesla's going to manufacture their new 2170 lithium battery. 2170 refers to the size of the battery. Currently, most vehicles, lots of things are powered by a very, very popular lithium battery called a 18650. Now, you're wondering why I'm bothering to tell you all this stuff. Well, I'm going to give you a little clue here. 18650 means it's 18 millimeters wide by 65 millimeters long. Guess what the 2170 measures?
Wait, hold on. I can do this. Metric.
Since the 0 isn't used in the 18650, it must be 21 by 7.
No, actually, the trailing 0, I have no idea why. I think it's actually, I don't know what the trailing 0 is, but in this case, it's 21 millimeters by 70 millimeters. It's a fatter and a little bit longer cell. Meaning that they can put more energy in it, they can use fewer cells, which is what Tesla's hoping to do with the Model 3. They're hoping to bring that battery cost down significantly by producing their own batteries and by making these high-density, larger cells. So there it is. The Gigafactory has been turned on. The Oompa Loompas are busy at work. Why are you laughing?
The Oompa Loompas.
The Oompa Loompas. Yeah.
Elon went to Oompa Loompa Land and saved
I have
Oompa
not
Loompas,
seen a
and
picture
they're
of
making,
blue little people making these batteries yet.
they're making
No,
batteries.
Oompa Loompas are orange.
Have you
Oh,
ever been to Reno?
No.
Trust me, they're Oompa Loompas. No.
So the Gigafactory is intended to employ 6,500 people directly and as much as 20 to 30,000 indirect jobs in the surrounding area. That's freaking huge. And if you don't allow this company to create more jobs by selling their cars in your state, you're an ass.
Yep.
No argument there. No argument there.
Now, as shown, the entire roof of the Gigafactory is solar.
Oh,
Well,
do I
it's
have to
going to be.
Okay,
Yes,
There's
going
no
to be.
solar yet.
Okay,
solar.
okay.
and
So
all
I,
the
Stage
windmills
process.
aren't in. And
yeah, I was going to say, are we going to find out, at some point, is it going to be 100% off the grid? Do we know?
I think that's the plan, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
yeah, I believe that's a plan. I don't know where they are on that now, but I mean, and I'm sure that's where they're going to work towards, and it makes good sense, right? I mean, he's basically making little buckets for energy, and if he can fill those little buckets of energy free, quote unquote, solar panels or wind power or whatever, then of course he'd be a moron not to do it. Well, or a Missouri state legislature.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Evan, did I just lose our viewership in the Missouri State Ledge?
So we've lost Italy,
Yeah.
Missouri.
The government of Missouri.
There was somebody, some other group tonight. So, Ford.
I think every
Ford.
employee.
Ford.
Any Ford owners.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty well fucked at this point.
You didn't lose all the Ford owners. I still have a Fusion Hybrid in my
Oh, don't
garage.
forget
so,
all the Faraday Future employees.
yes.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Take it away,
we are
Tony.
not insulting. We are not insulting all of the Faraday Future employees. Just the ones who put on that show last night.
Nice. That was good.
Yes.
I didn't expect that, Tony.
Because
You know what? Go ahead. I don't.
I was
mean
going to say they said 1,940 new patents filed for this car, and they've already shown there's some really good tech. So we know there's some really smart people behind Faraday Future. It was that thing they did last night that just deserves to be ridiculed.
Well, as does the corporate structure and concept. You know,
Okay.
you know, you don't want to slam the individual. You know, let's talk about North Carolina. Look, you know, there are really, really great people in North Carolina. Danny's not there at the moment because he's in DC, but there are a lot of good people in North Carolina. But, you know, there's lots of problems in North Carolina too, at the governmental level and things like that. So I think it's more looking at it in that regard, and that the CEOs or the major C-suite management leaving in droves, the ridiculous concept that they've created that is doomed to failure. That there's problems at the core of the company. The people that surround it that are doing their day-to job are, I'm sure, good people and working hard and probably very smart, and will find great work in another line of business with another company someday.
Right.
Let me earn my Chiron tonight. So last night I said this, and I wrote it in the essay on whatdrives.us. So I'll give you another version of it. I have it on good authority that there are really good people inside Faraday Future doing really good, valuable engineering work.
Mm-hmm.
What we say about Faraday Future isn't, I mean, I understand that it reflects on all of them. And of course they work there, and that they're pouring their heart, probably, hopefully, passionately into their work to make really great things. The problem is they needed somebody to kind of oversee, to conduct the orchestra, to put it together, to have it make sense as a coherent package. So there may be great, spectacular little pieces here and there. And we don't mean anything negative about those people who've done that cool stuff. They're great. And hopefully their inventions, their work will be picked up by other companies that will actually use it.
And imagine what the Faraday Future CES reveal would have looked like next year had they not done it this year. I mean, imagine they roll out a finished car, that they could then have the press come and look at something that's fully finished, then we would be saying, holy crap, I can't believe they pulled it off.
I would still
Maybe.
actually I mean, it's not just that.
All right, Russell's part was nice. Tony took it one step too freaking
really?
far.
I'm not.
All
I'm not.
right,
I'm going to
all
shut
right.
up here. I'm going to shut up here. I don't. The engineers, the good people that have put hard work into that Faraday Future FF91. Good for them. It's great. I'm sorry though. The FF91 as a vehicle, from what I've seen of it, is embarrassing. And it's not because of what you did or what you did over here or what this person did over here. It's the assemblage of the whole thing is a joke. It's silly. It's 1,000 horsepower nightmare. That's just one opinion from one fat guy on a podcast.
Somewhere in Florida.
Who's not really opinionated.
But I ain't wearing a sweater vest, baby. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Peter.
All right. We should probably wrap it up. So let's do some shout outs and we'll get the heck out of here. This is usually where the host throws it over to the co-host for some shout outs, but I think the last 5 minutes was Russell doing shout outs.
Shout outs or something.
Or just shouts. So Russell, what any end of show shout out?
Please visit whatdrives.us and read my essay about Faraday Future, and then come back at facebook.com/whatdrivesus and you tell me what you thought. Thank you.
Flash out. Yeah. All right, Paul.
As usual, I'll just plug my shop in Boulder, Colorado. If you have a hybrid or EV, we fix those cars. Although we don't want to fix any more this week, so call us next week or the week after because we're slammed.
Hey, Mark, how's the game going?
We are at 5-2. It's looking like a U.S.-Canada final tomorrow.
Oh,
nice.
there will be blood on the floor that week.
It shall be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Waterloo Regional Voltec Group. And also, I'm going to be heading off to the International Auto Show in Detroit next week. So hopefully I'll come back with some great pictures of some crazy looking prototypes again.
And how far are you from Detroit?
About 3 hours.
About 3 hours. Hey, can I jump in real quick, Tony?
Sure.
I want to send my personal thanks to Fran at Dada. Dada is the Detroit Auto Dealers Association. They are like the support, the admin staff for the Detroit Auto Show. UPS thoughtfully lost our badges. Thanks, UPS. One email to NAIAS and Fran at Dada got back to me immediately. Already had the badges printed. Is going to have them set aside so that when Mark gets there, his badges are there. That's totally cool.
That is awesome customer service.
So thank you very much, Fran at Dada.
That is awesome. Evan, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to Happy Perihelion Day. It is. I think we should have celebrated that earlier in the show, but
what is that?
Perihelion. It's the closest we are to the sun at any day of the year, and it's a really under-celebrated event, I believe.
And when is it?
Today.
Have you been drinking?
Today?
I have.
But why is it so freaking cold if we're close to the sun?
Yeah, I know. See, I don't believe it because it's like 9 degrees right now in Chicago.
Talk to Pat Sparks. He's frying right now.
Yeah.
That poor bastard.
And then I don't like shouting, so no shout out.
All right. Well, so I do want to make sure that you all know, and if you don't know, then you haven't been listening to the show. If you own a Prius and you need accessories or just some really fun stuff, be sure to visit the Prius Chat shop for all your accessory needs. That is priuschat.com shop. priuschat.com shop. Every item that's sold there has been inspected and tested by Prius owners. And, I really don't think that Danny is going to get the cabinet post as Secretary of Hybrids. So buy something from priuschat.com shop because his kids need the money.
I don't think what Donald Trump means by hybrids is what Danny means by hybrids.
Oh, yeah, good point.
It's going to be an ugly interview.
Yikes.
Am I supposed to read the next one that says Tony, since you just read the one that says Russell?
Yeah, let's do that.
There are two ways for you to look over. God, I never do this one well. There are two ways for you to look over our virtual shoulder. First, we have our Facebook page at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. There you can leave comments, suggest news items, or just like the page. Also, if you use Flipboard as a news aggregator, be sure to subscribe to us, our What Drives Us magazine.
As Russell said before, make sure you go to whatdrives.us. You can read his essay. You can also get every show that we've done in audio and video form. You can stream it and download it. Also, I put together the articles on hypermiling. If you haven't read them yet, you can sit there and read them. And if you have read them, you must have had a lot of time in your hands, because I think there's like 15 or so of them. Complete archives of 211, soon to be 212 episodes of What Drives Us. If you don't want to go to the website, you can always subscribe to the show on Stitcher, Slacker, YouTube, Google Play, or iTunes. Go ahead and subscribe to them all. So we'd like to thank the panel. Thanks, guys, for being on the show. Thanks to all the listeners for spending a little bit of time with us. And, of course, thanks to Mike Mannering, who has been on every single show, playing us in, playing us out. Make sure you visit him, manthing.com. Watch some of his videos on YouTube. So, guys, I think that's it. That's what we have. Everyone, make sure you download us next week and find out what drives us. U.S. Canada.
I'm supposed to. Am I playing? Why? It's on me because the audio. See ya.
Good night.
Peace out. See you next week, everybody. Thank you.